Here we go. We finally made it to the episode that everyone cares about. Let's get started with Best Actress. Frankly, I'm most curious about who is going to present this award because it sure isn't going to be Will Smith.
Oh, wow!
Anyway, Best Actress is clearly between Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett. I mean, what other options do we really have here? Andrea Riseborough is definitely not going to win this. This may be a hot take, but I actually thought Michelle Williams overacted in The Fabelmans. And sorry, Ana de Armas, but the thought of Blonde being labeled as an Oscar-winning film makes me lose all faith in cinema. So that leaves Yeoh and Blanchett. This is Yeoh's first Oscar nomination, and she has nearly swept this category all throughout award season, most notably winning one of the Golden Globes and the Screen Actors Guild Award just a few weeks ago. Blanchett, of course, has won 2 Oscars, one for Best Actress and one for Best Supporting Actress, and has been nominated 8 times. This year, she won the other Golden Globe and the BAFTA. Both of these actresses are stellar. Yeoh is long overdue for an Oscar nomination, and her performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of the best of her very impressive career. Blanchett also gives a career-defining performance in Tar, which I now realize I haven't talked much about in these predictions, but is a great film, by the way. Blanchett is one of my favorite actresses, but I am giving this prediction to Yeoh. The precedents are just too great, and the Academy will want to make history with this one, as Yeoh will be the first Malaysian to receive an Oscar in any category. I, for one, will be very happy to see it.
Something that explains why you still went looking for me through all of this noise. And why? No matter what, I still want to be here with you. I will always want to be here with you.
Best Actor is arguably the biggest toss-up this year and is very difficult to predict. Early on, this seemed to be a 3-way race between Austin Butler, Brendan Fraser, and Colin Farrell, but since then, Farrell has fallen behind the other two in terms of numbers of wins, so it is safe to say that the competition comes down to Butler and Fraser. And I have zero clue who is going to win. This is the first nomination for both of these actors, and both have several notable wins. For Butler, these are the BAFTA, one of the Golden Globes, one of the Satellites, and the Australian Academy. Fraser has won the Critics' Choice, the other Satellite, a huge chunk of the smaller, less prestigious awards, and most notably the Screen Actors Guild Award. At first glance, Fraser's SAG win definitely earns him a lot of favor, but Butler winning 2 of the non-American Academy Awards is impressive as well. As far as performances go, these two are very different but equally amazing. I don't know if you guys have picked up on it, but I am not the biggest fan of the Elvis film. However, Butler is absolutely what holds the movie together and is by far the best reason to watch it. I'm convinced that the man was possessed by the spirit of Elvis himself for the role. Plus, the Academy loves its musical biopic stars. Unless you're Taron Egerton, of course. Fraser's performance in The Whale is similar to Butler in that he is what elevates an otherwise mediocre movie. But his role as Charlie is far more gut-wrenching and allows Fraser to properly show off his emotional range as an actor. So now that I've gone through all of that, who will win? I still have no idea. I think I'm going to go with Butler for reasons not related to either performance. Firstly, you have the fact that Lisa Marie Presley just tragically passed away, and while this should not affect voting for the Oscar at all, it very well could. The Academy has liked to take the impactful route in recent years, and Butler's win would be exactly that given Presley's involvement in the film. There's also the controversy surrounding the casting of Fraser wearing a fat suit in The Whale rather than finding a plus-sized actor. I don't know. I'm saying Butler, but if I'm wrong, at least I said it could be either, right?
There's a lot of people saying a lot of things. Of course, you got to listen to the people that you love. But in the end, you got to listen to yourself. So I want you to know those New York people ain't going to change me none. I'm going to show you what the real Elvis is like tonight.
Next we have the, once again, all-male Best Director category. Seriously, Academy, what happened here? Anyway, plot twist, I'm giving this one to the Daniels. Yep, not Spielberg, the Daniels. I know Spielberg is pretty much the greatest of all time and The Fabelmans is one of his best films in recent memory. Seriously, have you seen the last shot of that film? Pure cinema. But the only directing award of substance Spielberg has won this season is the Golden Globe, and I am just not convinced that he would win the Oscar. In addition to pretty much everything else, the Daniels won the Directors Guild Award, which is currently on a 2-year streak for predicting the winner, but has gotten it right many times before. Plus, Everything Everywhere All at Once is just a fantastic film dripping with character from its two directors. This category needs creative diversity, and this is the year to have it. Alright, this is the big one you've been waiting for. For the Best Picture category, I had the great pleasure of discussing the nominees with Pete Tubbs, who some of you may recognize as the former host of Modern Classics here at HTV.
Hey, thanks for bringing me back. This is Pistol Pete Tubbs.
Starting off here, I think this group is a strange one to say the least. For the second year in a row, we have 10 nominees, and almost half of them are what could be considered mainstream films, which is different from the Academy's usual focus on art house productions. This makes the competition all the more interesting in my opinion.
Oh, it's definitely a weird group. You're also right. That's also what makes this year super interesting because, I don't want to spoil anything for the conversation, but the lead right now is Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it's such a strange movie. And then you have two huge blockbusters, Top Gun Maverick and Avatar The Way of Water. And then you've got Elvis, which made a bunch of money. So it's got a wide reach this year for a bunch of audiences. I think my favorite is The Fabelmans. I was not expecting to love it. Steven Spielberg has been making a bunch of movies since he started way back in 1973, I think. So, he's been doing this for 50 years, and he's been hit or miss recently. Like, I hated Ready Player One. I thought that was just awful. War Horse was bad. Like, a bunch of stuff's been not great. Then he comes in here with The Fabelmans, and I basically cried the whole time. I just loved it. It's my favorite movie of the year, but I don't think it's going to win. But if I had my choice.
Mine is actually Top Gun Maverick. I know, as far as artistic merit and innovative storytelling go, this film is probably near the bottom of the list of nominees. But this is the one I purely enjoyed the most. I'm not even a fan of the original Top Gun. In fact, it's probably one of my least favorite films I've ever seen if I'm being honest here. However, the sequel fixed pretty much all of my issues with the original for a fun, adrenaline-inducing story focused on the theme of legacy. It doesn't do a single thing that hasn't been done before, but it's just a good movie, plain and simple. The biggest surprise for me in 2022.
I would say the least amount of people have seen Women Talking and Triangle of Sadness for whatever reason. And Fabelmans. Fabelmans absolutely bombed, but people just love Steven Spielberg. But those two, I love Sarah Polley, and I cannot wait to see that movie. Frances McDormand, that whole cast, I'm sure it's incredible. But I just think that was a really underseen movie. And I think if Sarah Polley had gotten a Best Director nomination, then it would stand a much better chance. But at this point, it might win a Best Adapted Screenplay award, but they also have some tough competition in that field. Women Talking and Triangle of Sadness are two from this year that I think, if you ask your grandparents, they'd be like, I have no idea what either of those two movies are.
I really don't think Triangle of Sadness or Avatar The Way of Water have any chance of winning this. Triangle of Sadness is far too uneven to the point that I am actually baffled as to how it is nominated for the prize. Though its first two acts are solid, the third is a mess and almost like it's from a different film. As far as Avatar The Way of Water goes, the film itself is decent if you ignore that it is basically a reskin of the exact same plot of the first Avatar, which was also nominated for and lost Best Picture. I truly only expect it to win for Best Visual Effects.
There are three right now that are vying for Best Picture. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is kind of an unprecedented year. It's basically won every preamble award, so that pretty much means it's probably going to win Best Picture. But it seems like every year it's a surprise. Sometimes the favorite wins, but a lot of times it doesn't. So we'll see. But I think the other two that are in major contention are the Banshees of Inisherin and the Fabelmans. I think those three are really vying for that top spot. If I had to pick, I would give it to Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that's where we're headed. But who knows? Come Oscar night. Could be anything.
I agree with you here, Pete. Everything Everywhere All at Once likely has this one in the bag. After its impressive record for most SAG awards ever won, I think most of the doubt lifted. The Banshees of Inisherin is a strong runner-up, and part of me wants to give it the prediction for that same anti-spectacle bias that the Academy usually seems to have, but the precedents are just too strong for Everything Everywhere All at Once. It perfectly captures where the film industry is right now as the quintessential 21st century movie. If another film wins, it will be a true shock to me. After 5 weeks, that's a wrap on our Academy Awards predictions. Thank you very much to Pete for joining me for our Best Picture discussion, and thank you for watching. Be sure to keep a check on our Instagram to see how hilariously wrong I was in what I am sure is to be several categories. That's all from me. Enjoy the Oscars, Reddies.